Have you ever felt that your children no longer respect you or even ignore you as you age? Do they seem too absorbed in their own lives, calling or visiting less often, almost as if you no longer matter? Or worse, do they take you for granted, expecting your support but offering little in return? If so, you're not alone. Many elderly parents face this painful reality of feeling unappreciated and pushed aside by the very people they raised. It can be heartbreaking. But here's the truth. Suffering in silence won't change anything. Rather than feeling helpless or bitter, there are powerful ways to handle this. You don't need to beg for attention or live in sadness. You simply need the right mindset and approach. Stay calm, because in this video I will share 5 things you can do to regain peace, self-respect, and even strengthen your relationship with your children. By the end, you'll know how to navigate this phase of life with dignity and wisdom. Let's begin. 4. One reason for this distance is that your children get caught up in their careers, raising their own families, and managing the pressures of daily life. It's not that they don't love you, but their focus naturally shifts toward their own responsibilities. Sometimes, they don't realize how their absence affects you, and in some cases, they might assume you'll always be there, patiently waiting. This can lead to feelings of neglect and loneliness for aging parents, making it tempting to call them often or remind them of how little time they spend with you. However, chasing after their attention, whether through frequent calls, guilt-tripping, or constantly seeking their validation, often has the opposite effect. Instead of bringing them closer, it can push them away. No one, not even your children, enjoys feeling pressured or obligated. When they feel like every conversation carries emotional weight, they might start avoiding interactions altogether. This is why it's important to shift your focus from trying to gain their attention to prioritizing yourself. Instead of waiting for their calls or getting frustrated when they don't visit, invest in yourself. Develop hobbies you enjoy, rekindle old friendships, and build a fulfilling daily routine. Join community groups, take up a new skill, or even travel if possible. When your life is filled with joy and purpose outside of your children, you naturally become more attractive to be around. People, including your own family, are drawn to those who radiate confidence and contentment. Another key part of this is self-care. Prioritize your health, both mentally and physically. Engage in activities that keep you active and happy, whether it's reading, gardening, exercising, or simply spending time with like-minded people. Taking care of yourself sends a silent but powerful message. You are independent, and your happiness doesn't rely on anyone else. This shift in mindset not only improves your well-being, but also changes the way your children see you. The key takeaway is this: the less you chase after their attention, the more they will value your presence. When they see you're not constantly waiting for them or demanding their time, they'll start to appreciate you more. Spending time with you will feel like a privilege, not a duty. By focusing on yourself, you create an environment where respect and love can flourish naturally, rather than being forced. Respect isn't automatic, even from your own children. If you allow them to speak to you harshly, dismiss your feelings, or treat you as an afterthought, over time, this behavior can become a habit. Many elderly parents, out of love or fear of conflict, ignore these small signs of disrespect. The issue, however, is that when you let it slide once, it often continues and worsens. Your children may not even realize they're hurting you because you've never drawn the line. The key is to set boundaries, not with anger, but with calm firmness. If your child interrupts you, speaks rudely, or disregards your needs, let them know how it makes you feel. You might say something like, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way." Or, "I'd love to spend time with you, but I also need to be treated with kindness and respect." By doing this, you are teaching them how you deserve to be treated. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They are about setting expectations for a healthier relationship. If your children only call when they need something but ignore you otherwise, it's okay to say, "I love helping you, but I also want to hear from you just to catch up, not only when you need something." When you calmly express your feelings, you allow them to see things from your perspective, something they might not have considered before. It's also crucial to enforce these boundaries. If they continue to treat you poorly, limit your emotional investment in one-sided interactions. Don't engage in arguments, but also don't tolerate continuous disrespect. Your time and presence are valuable, and when you show that you won't accept mistreatment, they will start to respect you more. This isn't about being harsh. It's about ensuring your relationship is built on mutual care, not obligation. The key takeaway: boundaries create healthier relationships, even with your own children. When you stand up for yourself, you teach others how to treat you. Over time, this not only fosters respect but also strengthens the bond between you and your children. A relationship built on understanding and mutual appreciation will always be stronger than one built on silent resentment. Your children may be adults now, but they're still learning from you, whether they realize it or not. Throughout their lives, they have looked to you as a role model. And that doesn't change just because they've grown up. If they see you handling challenges with dignity, self-respect, and emotional control, they will subconsciously mirror that behavior. On the other hand, if they observe you constantly complaining, begging for attention, or reacting emotionally to their neglect, they may lose respect for you over time. Instead of responding with frustration or sadness when they ignore or disrespect you, show them the strength of calmness and self-assurance. If they don't call, don't keep reminding them. If they are short-tempered, don't match their energy. Responding with grace and self-control teaches them how to interact with you and others in life. A strong, composed parent is someone they will admire and eventually want to stay close to, rather than avoid. One of the most powerful things you can do is maintain your self-respect. Speak confidently, hold yourself with dignity, and don't allow their behavior to shake your self-worth. When you carry yourself as someone who values their own time and emotions, others, including your children, will naturally respect you more. Instead of demanding their attention, live in a way that makes them want to be around you. This also applies to how you treat others. If your children see you speaking kindly to friends, treating people with patience, and maintaining your independence, they will learn from your example. If they witness you engaging in meaningful activities, staying positive, and focusing on growth, they will feel inspired rather than burdened by your presence. Over time, they will come to appreciate the wisdom and security you bring into their lives. The key takeaway: your behavior influences how they treat you. By demonstrating patience, emotional strength, and self-respect, you set the standard for how you expect to be treated. Over time, your children will recognize and admire these qualities, strengthening your relationship in ways that demands and frustration never could. As a parent, it's natural to want to help your children, even when they're fully grown. Many elderly parents continue to provide financial assistance or emotional support, thinking it will bring them closer to their children. However, overgiving, whether it's money, time, or emotional energy, can backfire. Instead of fostering gratitude, it can lead to entitlement. When children become accustomed to receiving help without effort, they may start to expect it rather than appreciate it. The key is to set limits on how much support you provide. If your children only reach out when they need money, gently remind them that you have your own needs to take care of. If they lean on you for constant emotional reassurance but never offer the same in return, it's okay to step back. Help only when it's truly necessary. And make sure they understand that your generosity is a choice, not an obligation. They should learn to appreciate what you offer, not take it for granted. This doesn't mean cutting off your children completely. It means teaching them responsibility and mutual respect. If they are struggling financially, instead of simply handing them money, offer guidance on how to manage their expenses better. If they are emotionally overwhelmed, be a source of wisdom, but don't allow yourself to be their emotional dumping ground. Support should be a two-way street, not a one-sided expectation. By stepping back from overgiving, you also allow your children to grow. When they learn to stand on their own, they develop a deeper respect for you and your sacrifices. They start to see you not just as someone who provides, but as a person with your own needs, dreams, and limits. This shift in perspective strengthens relationships rather than weakening them. The key takeaway: your value is not tied to what you can provide. You deserve love and respect simply for who you are, not for what you give. When you stop overgiving, you teach your children an important lesson about gratitude, boundaries, and respect. One that will improve your relationship and bring more balance into your life. As you grow older, it's easy to fall into the mindset that your happiness should come from your children and their involvement in your life. But when you rely too much on them for emotional fulfillment, their absence or lack of attention can feel devastating. The truth is, your well-being shouldn't depend solely on your children. They have their own lives to live, and you deserve to have a life that brings you joy, purpose, and excitement, independent of them. Instead of waiting for their calls or visits, start filling your days with things that make you happy. Join a social group where you can meet like-minded people, take up a new hobby that challenges and excites you, or travel to places you've always wanted to see, even if it's just a short trip to a nearby town. Learning new skills, whether it's painting, gardening, or even using technology, keeps your mind sharp and your heart engaged. The more you invest in yourself, the more vibrant and interesting your life becomes. Having a fulfilling life outside of your family doesn't mean you love your children any less. In fact, it often strengthens your relationship with them. When they see you happy, active, and thriving, they will naturally admire and respect you more. No child wants to feel like they are the only source of their parents' happiness. It's a heavy burden. But when they see you enjoying life, it makes them want to be around you, not out of obligation, but out of genuine interest and love. This shift in focus also helps you regain control over your emotional well-being. Instead of feeling hurt when they don't reach out, you'll be too busy living a fulfilling life to dwell on their absence. This doesn't mean you stop caring, it just means you prioritize yourself. And in doing so, you set an example of what a well-lived life looks like. The key takeaway: a fulfilled life attracts respect and admiration naturally. When you prioritize your happiness, you become someone your children and everyone around you want to be close to. Instead of chasing after attention, you create a presence that draws people in. And most importantly, you give yourself the beautiful, meaningful life that you truly deserve. Conclusion: growing older doesn't mean you have to beg for attention or feel unappreciated. By focusing on yourself, setting boundaries, leading with dignity, stopping unnecessary giving, and building a fulfilling life outside of family, you regain self-respect and peace. The less you chase, the more your children will naturally value you. Remember, your worth is not defined by how much your children acknowledge you. It's defined by how much you value yourself. Stay strong, live well, and let respect come to you naturally. If you found this video helpful, let me know by commenting 9 below. And if you disagree or have a different perspective, comment 0. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay happy.